So in the book, your book Grind. So I believe, was that written in 2020?
It came out in 18.
Okay,
Fall
so
of 18.
okay, so I just love the name. And when we were doing research, we're like, man, let's find out about BIGGBY and the co-founder and Mike. And I pulled it up, and I go on Audible. I'm like, I'm going to listen to the thing, and I'm like, it's not on Audible. So then I went on Amazon. I'm like, I have to order it. But there's a few things I want to touch on in that book, but one of them is about this idea of personal due diligence, right? And how does that line up with you knowing, as an entrepreneur born, did you learn these traits to identify an opportunity? How can someone know if they have those traits? Are they entrepreneurial at heart? Should they take advantage of these opportunities? And let's face it, what happens if they're not a good decision maker, if they're not a good evaluator? So does the personal due diligence line up with that, or is that a separate idea?
No, to me, it's one of the primary premises of the book, which is that the book is not about whether you should be or shouldn't be an entrepreneur. What I really want to talk about, the conversation I really want to have, is you need to evaluate yourself. You need to do due diligence on yourself, which is I've never heard of that concept before. I believe that the entrepreneur, the person, the individual, is the most important ingredient to the success of your enterprise, to the success of your new business. And so what we need to do as entrepreneurs is we need to be continuously evaluating and doing, quote, due diligence on ourselves to determine what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are. And then what it becomes about is once you get real about that, leveraging your strengths and then supporting yourself in the areas that you have weakness. There isn't a single person on the planet that's got the full toolbox, right? And I mean, I got massive weaknesses, but you have to figure out how to support those. And so that's what that concept is about. I think there's some, primary personality traits that make an entrepreneur, maybe it's easier to be an entrepreneur if you have them.
Do you have those right off the tongue, or is that just a feeling, a thought in your mind? Do you have what those traits are?
Well, I do. One of them is optimism. The successful entrepreneurs that I know, I believe that they understand in their souls that tomorrow is going to be better than today. And they work because of that. And if you don't have that, it's going to be an uphill climb, because you are going to get kicked in the teeth hundreds of times as you develop your business. And you got to wake up and know that today is going to be better than yesterday, and you just keep moving forward. That's one of them.
Yeah.
Another one to me is enthusiasm and just pure energy. It takes you are the power source of your business. You're the sun for your business. And if you aren't ready for that, that business is going to draw on you constantly. The people are going to draw on you constantly. And if you aren't ready for that, if you aren't ready to be that, quote, power source for your business, I think it's going to be a struggle. And so, those are two, there's plenty more, but I guess a third one that I would add is you got to be a promoter. You got to be a promoter. And if you're not a promoter, you're really going to have to work hard to supplement that. And so to me, that's the other one that I just believe that, you have to be ready to promote what you're doing at every corner, every opportunity. I did a thing, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I did a thing called the Grind Score. And it's a 24 question quiz that really is, as we've been talking about, it's just simply meant to start a conversation about what your strengths and your weaknesses are. One of the questions I ask in that, which I think is interesting, is when you're on a plane, are you interested in engaging and talking to the person next to you, or do you put the headphones on and look down and hope the person doesn't notice you're there, right? And I think that articulates what I'm talking about here. Do I want to sit down and talk to somebody about my business and tell them all about BIGGBY and tell them all about everything I got going on? Yeah, absolutely. Right. And so that's when I'm talking about being a promoter, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
So these three things, do they wrap into, as you were talking about, I was like, man, attitude's everything.
Attitude's everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything. Yeah.
So were you naturally this guy when you were, I'll say, a kid in 96? Were you naturally this person?
Yeah,
you're the same guy sitting in front of us with the smile, the great energy, right? The optimism, the enthusiasm, these things you're talking about.
Yeah. And I think, my mom tells stories about me when I was a kid. Like, she'd have to like drag me in from the driveway because I'd be out there shooting hockey pucks into the net, in order to get me to like take a shower and go to bed. It'd be 9:30 at night. It'd be dark, and it's just whatever I've got myself involved in my whole life, I throw myself at it 100%.
You're all in.
Yeah, all in 100%.